Monterey, California, the place, Laguna Seca Raceway, the site for this OLN's continuing coverage of the Sea Otter Classic. I'm Davis Finney along with Bob Roll. Now, Bob, if we put all the cycling disciplines into a musical context, well, road racing, a little bit classical.
It reminds me of Vivaldi, Stravinsky at times.
All right, well, so cross-country, jazzy, and certainly there's a few blues in there.
B.B. King is out there with us every single day.
Right on. Well, downhill, but most especially dual slalom, which we're here to cover. Well, dual slalom is all rock and roll. And why don't you tell me who the rockers are here on the hill?
Well, it is definitely the speed medal event in cycling. I think Sean Palmer, he's a rock god. He's going to be tearing it up. And Brian Lopes, another speedy freak. They're going to just be out here ripping this thing to pieces.
All right, well, there's some very fast ladies, and why don't you tell me about a few?
I think Lee Donovan's downhill run did not go perhaps as well as she would have hoped. I'd look for her to make a rebound and reestablish herself as the national champion that she is. And Missy Giovi, another rider with a new team, and the downhill didn't maybe go as well as she had hoped. I bet both of them are tearing this up here today.
All right, well, let's take a look at the course with our own Peter Young, who had a chance to go through it earlier.
The genius behind the downhill course here at the Sea Otter Classic is also the man who built the dual slalom course here. Keith DeFibre has put together another classic. This year's dual slalom course is almost the same as last year's. They just moved the starting house over about 40 yards. Now, this is a traditional dual slalom course, the kind you'll see at a Norba event. The riders have to stay in their own lane and go through their own colored gates from top to finish. Now, it's about 1,000 feet in length, so when you get down to the bottom, there's a lot of pedaling to do. But first, let's talk about the top third section. Keith has put together some incredibly tight hairpin turns, and they've all got these berms. They're like handcrafted. A lot of care has gone into those, although the riders are going to spend the better part of the weekend ripping them up, but he doesn't care about that. The riders are going to have a lot of control through this section. It's going to be slow going. Once they get past all these turns, that is when they're going to start to hit the big air. And when I say big air, I mean some serious big air. This is a section of the course where the crowd is going to go absolutely crazy. You got two double jumps up here, one out of the last turn, and then this one. Now, you got to make it over this second jump, because if you don't, you're going to take a serious Krieger, as Bob Roll would call it, although I'm sure he's got about a dozen different phrases for the kind of falls people could be taking on this course. Now we're coming on a very key section. You could lose or make up a lot of time here. The top men and women are going to be able to clear this entire fire road. That'll enable them to get a lot of speed, get over the last two jumps, and onto the pedaling section. And they're going to have to pedal through this. Now imagine what this section of the course is going to be like after hundreds of riders have gone through here, and the guys in the finals get to this section of the course. It has the potential to be a bog that's going to suck out all of their momentum, and what it's going to create is a sprint pedaling finish all the way to the last gate. So you got a little bit of everything. You got tight turns, some big air jumps, and a pedal finish.
Excellent course preview, Peter Young. Thank you so much. As we go towards the top of the hill, first let's look at the rules. It is head-to-head competition with 2 runs per round and the best time advancing through to the finals. First round, round of 16, has blue course Lee Donovan matched against Sara Jorgensen on the red, Bob.
Lee looks great here. She's using the full berm, totally horizontal through there, pedaling furiously to the finish.
And Lee advances to the quarterfinals, where she is matched against the downhill winner, Marla Streb. Marla now on the blue.
Too bad for Marla that she has to come against Lee so early in this competition. Lee is just on fire in this one.
So Lee Donovan advances to the semifinals. Good redemption for her. Back to the top of the hill, run 2 in the other women's quarterfinals with Missy Giovi and Sherry Elliott. Missy Giovi on the first run, down 3/10, Bob. That's a tough time to make up on Sherry Elliott.
Missy Giovi racing independently this year of any of the big teams after being the top gun of all women's downhiller and dual slalom. She's bobbling a little bit there. She's struggling a bit. Maybe racing independently isn't all it's cracked up to be. Her front wheel is a little bit down on that jump. She's not using the whole berm. Sherry Elliott, on the other hand, is pedaling madly on that Tomac dual slalom bike. She looks great, clearing those bumps smoothly. She knows she has 3/10 in hand, so she doesn't really have to push it that hard. And Missy, on the other hand, really has to wick it up here. Here they come to the finish.
And wick it up Missy Jovi is trying, but it's not going to be enough. So Sherry Elliott will go on to the semifinals. And in the semifinals, let's take a look. Elliott faces Katrina Miller. Lee Donovan, the other big winner so far, takes on Tara Yanis. Back to the top of the hill. Run 2 of the semifinals. Donovan in the blue. She's 1.50 seconds up, Bob, on Tara Yanis.
Lee knows she has the maximum advantage in hand. She can cruise this run, take it easy, maybe conserve a little bit for the finals. You don't want to conserve too much because that can lead to a crash, but she's looking really smooth. No problems there. Using the whole berm. Sweet through the jumps. Very nice. Right straight into that next berm. Pedaling hard. Just perfect. I like what I see from Lee in this race. Looking for a little revenge maybe from the downhill. Looks great. Tara, on the other hand, is struggling a little bit. She would probably prefer not to be a second and a half behind for the second run, but that's the way the dual slalom goes sometimes. You got to make the best of it. And she's sprinting to the finish.
So Yanis will take the run on the second round, but it is not enough time, and Lee Donovan will advance back to the top of the hill. Katrina Miller in blue, and Sherry Elliott is half a second down after the first run. That's a lot of time, Bob, on somebody like Katrina Miller.
That is definitely a bad place to be to start a race. Half a second down already. Katrina can just cruise it. She looks good. Wearing short sleeve jersey there, no pads whatsoever. That is a tough down under chick. I like it. Absolutely fearless when it comes to falling. Couldn't care less, it looks like. She wears less pads than the guys do. Take note, Dave Cullinan. Oh, nice pre-jump on that one. That's how you do it when you're the reigning Norba dual slalom champion. And sprinting to the finish line, she doesn't even want Sherry Elliott to get a little bit of coup on the second run there.
So let's take a look as they run through the finish line. You can see the difference, just about a bike length. So Lee Donovan cruises into the finals against a very tough Katrina Miller when we come back.
Imagine TV.
200 miles of bad road, 600 bottles of nitro, 1 Mercury Mountaineer.
That's nitro, highly explosive.
Payment on delivery. Any questions?
Yeah. Who's he?
Highly.
Hey, Bones!
Yep.
That would be your driver.
Mountaineer? No problem.
Working out or working hard, Centrum has your nutrition covered. With Centrum, you benefit from what science is discovering about how vitamins and minerals help maintain health and strengthen immunity. Centrum, always complete from A to zinc.
Darn bugs. Darn weeds. Let's see. I'll mix 2 teaspoons. No. 3 ounces. No. What'll I do?
Confused, Pete? Try the Ortho Lock and Spray system.
Hey, no spilling.
Yep, Lock and Spray is the easiest way to apply Ortho Bug Be Gone.
And we'd be gone.
No mixing, no measuring, no mess.
No cleanup. Yes. Lock and Spray's the easy way.
Leave it to Ortho.
One of cycling's most notorious tests of endurance.
Back to Monterey, California, where all forms of cycling rule the Laguna Seca Raceway. Be sure and join us tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for the road race coverage here at the Sea Otter Classic, and the mountain bike stage race follows on Thursday at 8 p.m. Back to the top of the hill, Bob Roll. This is the consolation match between Tara Yanis and Sherry Elliott.
This is the race for third place, actually, between Sherry Elliott, the seasoned veteran, and a relative newcomer to professional women's mountain bike racing, Tara Yanis of the Specialized team. But Tara is no stranger to BMX-style racing, sprinting out of those corners, going through the berms nicely. Sherry, very smooth. You can see the power as she comes out of the corners, over the jumps. Tara just a little bit behind there. She's trying to push to make up. She's trying to catch him. Sherry up, and she's gone off course a little bit. Sherry's now rolling. That's going to give Tara the maximum time penalty. She missed a flag. She missed a gate there.
So Sherry Elliott will have a 1.5 second advantage, which is really huge, going into the last run for the third position in this overall dual slalom at the Sea Otter Classic. At the top of the hill, it is the first of the final runs for the championship here at the Sea Otter. Lee Donovan on the blue, Katrina Miller on the red. They're out hot and fast.
This is a very, very good pairing here. The two of the best of the day that we've seen. Lee going good there. Katrina making up a little bit of time through the berm. She's got that compact style, really powerful, very fast. She can make up time before you even know it. Lee going through the jumps nice. Oh! Ow! She got a little bit over the front end there, pushing the front end a little bit too far, and it washed out on that berm there. It didn't look like she rode up far enough on the outside of the berm and kind of pushed the edge, lost the front end, and Katrina Miller will coast down to the finish, get the maximum advantage there for the next run. It's going to be very hard for even Lee Donovan to make that up.
So Katrina Miller cruises into the second run with a huge lead over Lee Donovan. Lee having a digger. That's her nickname, Digger, as we take a look at the replay. And she just went straight into that berm. You know, she took off her padding between rounds, and she kind of paid the price for it. As we go back to the last run for third place here, Sherry Elliott in the blue, Tara Yanis 1.5 seconds back on the red course.
That's going to be very tough to make up, especially against Sherry Elliott, the veteran. Third in the World Downhill Championships from Mont Saint Anne last year. She's obviously had a good winter of training. She's going through here. Good sprinting there. Over the bumps, no problem. Tara trying to make up the time. She looks good, but she's doing better this run, obviously. Coming down to the finish straight here.
No way is Tara Yanis going to make up time unless Sherry Elliott biffs it, and she almost did so right there.
Sherry Elliott barely held on to that bicycle in the last little mud ditch.
So Sherry Elliott will take third position, Tara Yanis fourth, as we go back for the final run here, the women's final at the dual slalom.
Great start for Katrina Miller out of that one. She's already has the lead, and she's already leading by a second and a half over Lee.
Lee's really going to have to put it on the line here, Bob. Making up a second and a half is almost too much.
You're going to have to push really hard through all these corners. It's going to be tough, very tough. She's trying, though. She's got a little bit of a lead, it seems like. Lee, that is. She's
Taking
trying to make
line.
up the time.
Yeah, taking a high line there, trying to get through those jumps. Oh my gosh! Holy cow.
Way over the front end on that. Doesn't seem to be hurt. That's a tremendous digger there. Looking for a little support from the crowd. She's going to get back on her bike. Oh, Gas got a smart over the bars. And Katrina just cruising these last two runs.
So Katrina Miller will win it all here at the dual slalom. Fantastic weekend for her. She was second in the downhill. Let's take a look at that. Boy, does Lee get too far over the front, and wham! She goes completely over the top side.
It looked like she tried to roll over that double jump that everybody's been jumping, and the front tire got caught up in the next little berm, and fwango, she lost the front end.
Hey, I gotta make it exciting. I'm here for the entertainment factor. Don't you know about Dennis Rodman, he says basketball's about entertainment. I want to make the kind of money basketball players are making, so I'm making it entertaining.
Well, entertaining it is. Katrina Miller takes the overall title here, and Peter Young is with her.
All right, Katrina, congratulations. You won.
Yeah, pretty happy. Aim of the game is to stay upright, and that helps, that's for sure.
How does it feel to win, and the person you beat might have got a bigger ovation from the crowd?
It's all right. Lee's always one to get a bit of an ovation. She always puts on a show, and she's a good racer, and, you know, I think our Northern Nationals will be heaps closer this year if we all stay upright. It'd be great.
Great start to the season for you.
For sure.
When we come back, thrills and spills continue here with the men's dual slalom and the men's downhill. The sun has finally made an appearance here in Monterey for the men's dual slalom. We have seen 32 men come down to this. 8 savvy riders led by Brian Lopes and Johan Engstrom. They'll be the first pairing at the top of the hill. Engstrom on the red and Lopes on the blue. Bob, this is two guys on the same team fighting it out.
Brian Lopes, one of the most feared dual slalom racers in the world because of his fabulous speed. Just fantastic. Look how he jumps out of those corners, those berms. He's just flying down the course. Full sprint each time, top of the berm, over the jumps. No problem there. Rolling through. Engstrom way behind already. Lope flying, just flogging this course, sprinting flat out.
Well, Engstrom, the Swedish acquisition for Cannondale, they have a lot of hopes for this guy, but Brian Lopes, man, we saw him at the World Championship duel, and he was just savage.
Just look at that sprint, just flying to the finish.
So Lopes wins the first heat against Johan Engstrom, and he will move up with some advantage as we go back to the top. Dave Cullinan on the blue, the Schwinn Toyota rider, going against Kurt Voorhees, Mountain Dew Specialized.
Cully, one of my good buddies from Durango, used to live there. Now he's out of Cali, but he's still racing fast. 30 years old this year, but still fast as they come. Going through those corners, very smooth. That's been the hallmark of Cully. Look at that, how he rides that berm, very smooth. Delicious through the jumps, on the berms, very nice. Cully's on fire. Voorhees trying to make up time. Sprinting to catch up, getting a little bit ragged through there, through the jumps. Cully all the way. Fast, too, a bit. Oh, and a little showboating there at the front end.
So Cully, who's managed to get second in this event, 3 years running, he's looking good to head on as he just pips Voorhees by .163. Let's take a look at the finish as they come across the line. Just over a length.
Voorhees trying to close the gap there, throwing his bike in the front, not quite enough.
Back to the top of the hill, Mike King for Haro against Sean Palmer. You know the Palm well, Bob.
Napalm, the man. Fabulous dual slalom racer, but Mikey King, very fast and a great BMX racer. Lifting the front end out of the turns, trying to make up a little time. A little sketchy on that jump. Oh, he's going fast now, though.
King is uber quick. Yeah, you know, Bob, he broke his wrist just the start of the year, and he's come back strong. Look at this guy. He wants it bad.
He wants it bad. He's sprinting like a psycho. That's awesome to see Mike King finally fired up for his new team, Haro Bikes. Oh, my goodness, that is some sprinting there.
So Mike King, 0.8 of an advantage over Palmer. Back to the top, Johnny T in the blue. Eric Carter. Carter so fast, but Johnny T, man, the aged veteran.
Johnny T, the man, the great one. All-time great downhiller, Johnny T, trying to make him some time on EC. Eric Carter, fast GT racer, BMX background. Johnny T might be the only dual slalom racer ever to do the Giro, the Tour of Italy.
That's quite a contrast, a 10-second event versus about 100 hours.
EC going through the bumps, very smooth, typical BMX style. Got a big lead there, showboating a bit on that jump. Coming down to the finish. The Tomes trying to make up some time. Oh, big air for Johnny. Very nice. I like it. But it's Eric Carter at the finish.
Well, Eric Carter may have 1.5 seconds advantage, but John Togmack is miles ahead in all other ways. This guy has done it all in the sport of cycling, and now he shows up with his own bike line here at the Sea Otter. And Bob Roll caught up with his mechanic, Bob Gregorio.
Bob, why don't you run us through this bike for us?
Why, certainly. This is our answer to the downhill world. We have a real stable frame set here with tubing that was made particularly for us. It's very strong and stable. It's called the 204 Magnum. And some of the design features that we utilize to improve downhill performance is this 4-bar linkage in the rear. And the advantage to it is that it allows for a straight wheel path, and that enables the rear wheel to ride over the bumps a little more smoothly. Another feature in the rear end of our bike is the offset rear triangle. The frame is offset toward the drive side to allow for a straighter chain line, so the shifting quality is better.
What does a bicycle like this cost the average consumer if they were to go out and buy one?
Equipped as it is right here, I'd say it would be in the neighborhood of $6,000.
Technology rules in the gravity sport. More duel when we come back. The men's duel continues from the hills above Monterey. This is the quarterfinals run 2 between Lopes and Engstrom. Lopes has the lead, but it doesn't look like any longer.
Brian looks like he lost the front end there, stuck up on a hay bale, and Engstrom down too. This is going to be tight. He's down 6/10. He's trying to make it up, going good through the jumps. Oh, he railed that berm. That was beautiful. And Lopes, it seems like he didn't see the crash that Engstrom had, and he's just cruising down the hill. Engstrom is going to roll through this one.
So easy win for Johan Engstrom, showboating a little bit. The Cannondale guys are frowning. One guy had to go out, and it looks like Brian Lopes. Who would have predicted Johan Engstrom advancing to the finals? Let's take a look at the replay as Lopes just gets too heavy on the front end, dives right into the hay bale. Back to the top of the hill, we have got
Cully and Voorhees, this was a tight one. This is the tightest one in the quarterfinals. Cully having the advantage with his pedaling. He is sprinting out of the corners. Looks like he's fired up there, but Voorhees hasn't given up. He's got a bit of a lead now. Cully good through that one. Brought the rear end around really quickly. Coming up to the jumps, leading. Very tight, very quick. Using the whole berm there. Very nice around there.
Cully's like the
Very
bionic
smooth.
man, Bob. The guy's had heart surgery about 3 times here. He's finally fixed the problem. Can you believe he's doing this? Look at the guy. He is savvy on this course.
Looks very smooth, very good. Nice.
So
He
Cully
is
gets
psyched,
across
too.
the line. Yeah, arms raised.
He's already raising his hands.
So Cully gets the arms up as we look at the replay. Nice spread over Voorhees. He'll go to the semifinals. Up to the top of the hill, Mike King in the red. He's got 8/10 ahead of Sean Palmer on the blue.
The way Mikey is racing today, he's sprinting fast. You can tell he's aggressive. He wants it. Sean Palmer's going to have a really hard time making up 8/10 on Mikey King, who is fired up for his new sponsors, Haro. Railing those berms.
Palm
Launching
spending a
those
lot of the winter on his snowboard. Maybe too much time to get up with a pedaler like Mike King.
Did you see the rainbow in the background? That must be coming back to former world champion Mikey King. Oh, he hit the gate there. It's not over yet.
This is extremely tight. Remember, 8/10 the last run. Palmer was down on King. They're sprinting to the finish line, but King is just so quick. He rolls through and goes on to the semifinals. Palmer is out. Let's take a look of the replay of the finish as Palmer rolls through the pit. He is not stopping to talk to nobody.
Not too happy about that. I wouldn't be either. But Mikey King is fired up. He hit just about every gate on that course, just railing it. I love it.
So as they head through the finish line, you see the split there. No problem for Mr. Michael King. He advances. Up to the top of the hill, we have our final match for the quarterfinals, Eric Carter and John Tomac. Remember, Tomac lost 1 second 50 coming into this round, so he's got a lot to make up.
Johnny hasn't given up yet. Eric Carter, though, is going to be tough to beat with the full maximum advantage. BMX skills into play, sprinting fast out of the corners. EC looks great so far. He's using the sleeveless style as well. I like it. He is flying. Eric is doing great. He's way ahead of the Tomes. A little bit sideways there. A little bit sketchy. Big air. Flip that gate.
Whoa! Excuse me.
It looked like he just thought he had it in the bag, let go of it, lost it in the very last mud puddle. I've never seen anything like that. He can't believe it.
Let's take a look at that again. As he hits that jump, he comes off it a little bit sideways, and he comes right into the mud on his back wheel. Boom, he is down, and the race is over for him, so Johnny T takes advantage of that. Peter Young catches up with the Tomes.
Well, I tell you, you're living right, huh? Yeah, I made a million mistakes, and Eric fell in the mud. What can I say? Did you even see it? I saw him start to slide, and he went down. Yeah, I rode terrible at the top, and I made about 3 mistakes. Had just about given up and got lucky.
What was going through your mind when you saw Eric biff it?
I don't know. I guess I was being thankful.
Good luck next round.
So taking a look at the semifinal action, we have Engstrom against Cully. Mike King goes against the Tomes. Still to come, men's semi-action and the downhill.
On OLN.
Men's dual action rocks on here at Laguna Seca with the semifinals. First run as we go to the top of the hill for Johan Engstrom's fight against Cullinan. Engstrom in the blue and Cullinan in the red.
I don't know how much BMX they're doing in Sweden, but Engstrom seems to be doing great. Cully's tough, though. It's going to be hard now, this close to the finals, to get rid of Dave Cullinan. Very smooth, as usual. That's his hallmark. Fast out of the corners, over the jumps, sets up those corners nicely, gets his foot down, pedals around. He's leading now. Engstrom trying to come back. Is going to be tough, though. Cully's riding good now. I love it. I like to see it from the guy. Hanging tough. Riding smooth.
Dave Cullinan just so quick, and Engstrom takes himself out there in that mud bog we saw earlier, and let's take a look at it. We saw the same problem Eric Carter having right there. You know, you come into that mud, and if you're just a little bit off your line, boom, you're out. So Cully gets a nice lead. Dave Cullinan has had so much to work through in his life. he is a deserving winner of this event just based on what he's gone through. Bob Roll catches up with him.
You had a fabulous season last year, and it was sort of the culmination of 5 years' work after the first couple of heart surgeries, and I want to compliment you on that. And you're going to try to carry that through this year and get some of the big results that you had from last year in '98?
Well, sure. That's, most people don't know I've had 3 open heart surgeries, and I've had them up until a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago now. And last year was my first season back with a year of off season where I didn't have to go in and get turkey basted and split in half and start yanking out engine parts like, a bad run in Chevy. So last year was the first time I had a fresh legs. I had a year behind me. I was coming back with some familiar faces with the Schwinn team, and I put a lot of stuff behind me, and I got on the start line, and I'm like, let's just focus on left, right, pedal, 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 and that's what I did. And now that I've got those wins behind me, I've set my goals, more back at being, maybe, winning the championships that I've had before. I've won world titles and national titles, and that's my goal, to get back to the world championship level.
Talk about a great example for those of us to aspire to. Lance Armstrong has his problems with cancer. Well, this man has had equal problems, and he's really come back. As we go to the top of the hill for the men's semifinal, run 1 of Mike King and John Tomac. Tomac has had great luck so far.
His luck might run out here against a fired-up Mikey King. I haven't seen him ride like this in a couple of years. Kind of lost in the GT program, but with Haro, he's come back full force here. He is tearing it up. I love it. He is bursting out of those corners, smooth over the jumps. Johnny's having a hard time. He's got to play some catch-up now. Beautiful through there.
We've seen riders have problems on that blue course, but no problems for Mike King as he takes a good advantage over John Tomac going into their second run. Almost a second advantage for Mike King. Back at the top of the hill now, we have got Dave Cullinan versus Johan Engstrom, and Engstrom, remember, is 1.5 seconds back after his fall the first run. Very hard for Cully to lose this, but we've seen it happen.
We've seen it with Eric Carter against Johnny Tomac. Cully, though, is not taking any chances. He's riding hard. He's racing from the front. That's the best tactic you can use, I think, in this so close to the finals. You don't want to make a slip due to inattention, and Cully is not taking any chances. Still racing. Smooth. I love the way Cully rides. He's just so good. Oh, nice jump there. Good air. Taking it easy. Not too easy, though. Smooth through that mud bog and roll into the finish.
Yeah, Cully, ka-ching, ka-ching for him. He advances to the final. So let's take a look at his advantage across the line. And no problem for Mr. Cullinan. In the pits, Brian Lopes has manhandled the mic away from Peter Young, and he catches up with Engstrom.
Tell me, Johan, how'd it feel out there? How'd your run go? You a little tired?
I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, did you have a good run?
No, not really.
Not too good. Did the BMXer snap you out of the gate or what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looked like you got a pretty good start, and you had the little bit rougher course up top, but starting to sprinkle, I was hoping that water was going to give you a little bit of extra energy.
Yeah, I tried, but he was a little bit too fast for me today.
Well, good
I beat him last time.
Good job, Johan. Coley. Dave Cullinan advancing. Whoa, I'm sorry. They're on your head, buddy. You're a little tired, I can see. You don't have your glasses. You don't know where they are, but you're advancing on to the finals. How do you feel?
Well, I feel real glad to have the Schwinn Toyota bike out front today. It's a good thing. A lot of competition here, and it's actually kind of amazing to be interviewed by Brian Lopes. Never in my life has this ever happened.
What was the key to you making it to the finals here today? You're going up against, looks like John Tomac.
Well, I mean, regardless of who I'm going up against, I think you got to race yourself. And if you worry about the other guy, then you can go ahead and just make mistakes. But I want to thank Schwinn, Toyota, RockShox, Michelin, and Oakley for getting me here.
Well, right on, Dave. Good luck today, and take it to Tomac out there, the old guy, and show him what that hardtail can do.
Hey, when we go home, you want to go riding?
Sure, sounds good.
Okay. We got to watch out for our job there, Bob. So as we go back to the top of the hill, it's Tomac actually versus Mike King. At least Brian doesn't know all his stats. King on the red course. He's got quite a lead over Tomes.
Tomes hasn't given up, but it's going to be tough to overcome Mikey King, who is fired up today. Riding well, going smooth. Knows he has almost a second in hand over Johnny T. Just has to stay close. Can't go too easy. Trying to be smooth. Maybe conserve a wee bit for the finals now. But he's still got a race against Johnny T. Johnny getting sketchy there. Not giving up at all.
Tomac is the best showman out there, no question about it. He's giving it all, but he ain't going to get it from Mike King. King closes it right up on the line and advances to the finals. And as we look at that finish, we go back to our own inimitable Brian Lopes, who's with King.
I guess you smoked him. You're going to the finals.
Am I going to the finals?
It's you and Coley.
I didn't know that. That's kind of cool.
Old school AA.
Yeah, you know, I guess it's all about BMX. But it'll be a good final. You know, Coley's been here the last 3 years, and I've been in the round of 4 the last 3 or 4 years. So, you know, it's too bad you're not in there.
Yeah, well, maybe next year, my first year here. But let's talk about you and Coley. What lane are you going to have first? You going to have the blue side or the red side?
I have no idea. Aiko tells us when we get up there, but they're both pretty equal. You know, the Haro bike's really doing good in the corners, and, you know, that's all I can ask for is this bike's ripping.
You got some good legs on you coming into the last 2 runs here?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, they're tired, but, you know, it depends how bad you want it. If you want it bad enough, you can get it.
That's right. You know how to get it bad, so, hey, good luck to you and good luck to Coley, and may the best man win.
All right, thanks, Brian.
So there you hear it from 2 of the best as we look at our final bracket. Dave Cullinan will take on Mike King. When we come back, it's final action here at the Duel at Monterey.
Imagine TV.
The crowd sets up for the final action here at the men's duel. Monterey, California, Laguna Seca, Johan Engstrom going for 3rd place against John Tomac. This is the consolation final.
Johnny's riding good. It looks like he's riding better in this the finals than he's ridden all throughout the dual slalom event. His old legs are getting warmed up finally. He's riding great.
Well, Tom's is an old road guy. You know, he takes about 20 runs to get going.
Now he's flying. Vertical through that berm. I love it. Smooth through the jumps. Accelerating hard down to the final straightaway. Couple jumps to the finish. Engstrom's eking out a bit of a lead. I think the blue course a little bit tougher, especially with that last. He's flogging it, though. He's coming to the line fast.
Engstrom takes a squeaker over Tomac. As we look at the line shot, Engstrom just a little more than half a second ahead of John Tomac in their first run of 2. So while Engstrom catches his breath in preparation for the next ride, we'll go back to the top of the hill where tension is high for this, the first of the final rides for Dave Cullinan against Mike King. And Bob, you said it to me earlier, these guys have been racing together against each other maybe 20, 25 years.
Cully riding so smooth, so strong. He's fired up. Mikey King chasing, though. You can see how fast he's pedaling.
King getting a little bit tired. You know, all these rounds, these guys just get a bit fatigued going through this, a fairly pedally course.
Maybe that bionic heart valve is helping Cully in these finals now. Finally, it's come through for him. Cully riding smooth and strong. Nice lead over Mikey King, who's trying to close it just on the line. Beautiful run for Dave Cullinan. I am psyched for the man.
So Dave Cullinan almost 3/4 of a second as we take our look at the finish line. He coasts right on through. Good lead as he goes into the final ride against Mike King. So Dave Cullinan, that big heart valve pumping away like a carburetor here. He is looking good. Back to the top of the hill. Engstrom on the red. Tomac half a second behind on the blue. Tomac's going to have to give everything, Bob, if he has a hope.
He's got to get them legs going. Got to get his road sprinting back to it. BMX is going good there. Lifting the front tire still out of the corners. Going through that switchback section very well. Sprinting back again, back up to speed over the jumps. Engstrom trying to stay close. Johnny T is racing good here. He's got his road legs warmed up. He's got a good lead there. Engstrom's gone out of the picture.
He has got the crowd behind him. Look at the tones, man. He has had the good ride all day. Look at the air he's carrying. He's almost going sideways. Engstrom is down, and Peter Young will get a chance to catch up with John Tomac as he crosses the line.
How about some of these veterans performing pretty well, especially you?
Yeah, you know, we've been around a long time, and it's fun to be able to be at the top of the sport now. For me, it's my 14th season, so it's been a long haul.
How much longer for you?
I don't know, I got 1 or 2 left to think, but I've been saying that for the last 5 years, so we'll see.
It's kind of hard to give this up, getting all muddy and dirty, huh?
Yeah.
And cash, too.
Yeah, I got a little bit of cash, and I'm still having fun, so it's a good time.
All right, thanks. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks.
So John Tomac does his new bike ride, finishing third as we go to the top of the hill for the final run of the day. Mike King, 7/10 behind Dave Cullinan. And Bob, that's going to be a hard thing to make up for him because Cully has just been on fire.
Mikey King lost his pedal there to start. It hasn't seemed to deter him, though. He's still racing flat out. Cully, lost that berm there. Cully gets a little bit flustered if he makes a mistake. That's one problem he's had. He's trying to get it back together. There he goes. Now he's back on track, closing the gap to King. King sprinting fast out of the corners. He disappears out of our picture in a heartbeat. Just flying. I love it. This is going to be tight. It's going to be close. 3/4 of a second. Oh, my goodness. Cully's got to close the gap now. He's got to start sprinting. It's going to be so close. Oh, goodness. Oh.
Woo. Mike King throws it down hard, and it looks like he has won this event by the slimmest of margins. Just about 200ths over Cully. Cully, how could you do it? You lost by just the smallest amount possible. Let's take a look back, Bob.
Right here. This is the one slip. That's all it took.
Well, Peter Young is with our winner, Mike King.
Mike, you won it for the second time. Where'd you win it on this course?
Probably at the bottom, maybe. The last 2 years in a row, I've just been getting killed. The last section, you know, you tend to tap your brakes a little bit, and this year the course was a little straighter, so once I got around turn 6 and 7, I just threw out the brakes and just pedaled as hard as I could. That last corner is a little easier because it's a jump now, and I think that's where I made up a lot of ground.
Great start to the season.
Yeah, I just wish I got some real points for it, but I know everyone at Harrow's happy. I've been working hard the last 2 weeks because I got over a hand injury. I raced back in late January. I broke my hand, so it's a good way to start the year. I'm pretty happy.
All right, congratulations once again.
All right, thanks.
No kidding, good way to start the year. Looking at the final standings, Mike King, he'll take it ahead of Cullinan, Tomac, and Engstrom in this year's Sea Otter Classic Dual Slalom. When we come back, it's the men's downhill.